All right, let's talk about Apple Numbers. We're going to give you the ultimate cheat sheet to get you up and running and feeling confident with it in just the next few minutes. Let's dive in.
Yeah, if you've ever opened a spreadsheet and just felt lost in that sea of cells and weird formulas, you are definitely not alone. It can look pretty complex from the outside. But what if I told you we can cut through all that noise? This quick explainer is going to cover all the essentials you actually need to be productive. We're talking the absolute must-knows, and we're going to do it fast.
Okay, Section 1. Welcome to Apple Numbers. This is your first step. Before we do anything else, we've got to get the app open and just see what we're working with.
And getting there is super easy. Seriously, you just hop over to iCloud.com, pop in your Apple ID, and then click the Numbers icon. That is it. You're in. No downloads, no installation, nothing. So Section 2 is all about your first spreadsheet. Think of this as creating your digital canvas. Now that we're in, let's get our workspace organized. And a good spreadsheet always starts with managing your sheets, or what you might think of as tabs. I want you to think of these tabs at the top just like pages in a notebook. It's super intuitive. You hit the little plus icon to add a new page, you can double-click a name to rename it something useful, right-click to get rid of it, and you can literally just click and drag them around to get them in the perfect order. It's simple, but it's key to staying organized.
All right, Section 3. Mastering your data. Now we're getting into entering and moving information around. Our workspace is all set up, so it's time to actually tackle the data itself.
Now, this might sound incredibly basic, but trust me, everything you do hinges on this. Before you can copy or calculate or format anything, you have to tell Numbers exactly what you want to change. It all starts with selecting the right cells. And you've got a few tricks up your sleeve here. Of course, there's the classic click and drag. But for big areas, click the very first cell, hold down the Shift key, and then click the very last cell you want. Boom! Everything in between is selected. And my favorite, if you need to select cells that aren't touching, just hold down Command or Control and click all the different ones you need. Okay, so once you've selected your cells, you get to use probably the most used commands in all of computing. Copy and paste. You know the drill. It's Command-C to copy and Command-V to paste if you're on a Mac, or Control-C and Control-V on Windows.
But here's a super important distinction. When you do a standard paste, you're bringing over the whole shebang. The value, the formula behind it, the bold font, all of it. But sometimes you just want the final number, the result. And for that, there's a neat little workaround in the web app. You just paste it into a simple text editor first, which strips away everything else, and then you copy that clean text and paste it back into Numbers.
So picture this. You've just written the perfect formula in one cell. But now you need that same formula for the next 200 rows. You're not going to sit there and type it out over and over again, right? Of course not. This is where fill down becomes your new best friend. You can select the whole range and just hit Command-D or Control-D, or even easier sometimes, just grab that little yellow dot in the corner of the cell and drag it all the way down. Both are massive time savers. And hey, a little bonus tip for you, this works sideways too. If you need to copy a formula across a row instead of down a column, just use Command-R or Control-R. Fill down, fill right, you're going to be flying through your spreadsheets now.
Section 4. Unleashing formulas. This is where we let the spreadsheet do the heavy lifting. Up until now, we've basically been using Numbers as a fancy table. Now we're going to turn it into a powerful automated calculator. Let's get into the real magic.
So what is a formula? It's really just an equation that does a calculation for you. But there's one golden rule. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Every single formula must begin with an equal sign. That's the signal that tells Numbers, hey, it's time to do some math. Now, you don't have to write everything from scratch. These right here are your essential building blocks. You've got your everyday workhorses like sum, average, and count for quick math, and then you have the real powerhouses, like the if function, which can make decisions for you, and VLOOKUP, which is amazing for finding one piece of data in a giant table. This is your core tool.
Okay, stick with me here, because this concept is a total game changer. By default, a cell reference like A1 is relative. That means when you fill a formula down, it cleverly changes to A2, then A3, and so on. But what if you have one specific cell, say a tax rate, that you always want to point to? That's when you use an absolute reference. You lock it in with dollar signs, like $A, $1. Now, no matter where you copy that formula, it will always look at that one specific cell. It's crucial.
So as your projects get bigger, you're not going to want everything crammed onto one page. And the great news is your formulas are not trapped. They can actually reach across different sheets in your document and pull information from anywhere.
And the way you do it is so simple, it's brilliant. You just type the name of the sheet, followed by 2 colons, and then the cell you want. So if you look at the example, equals sum sheet 2, A1-A10, you're just telling numbers, hey, go over to sheet 2 and add up the first 10 cells of column A. This is how you build really powerful connected documents.
And that brings us to section 5, pro tips and next steps. We have covered a ton of ground. You can navigate, you can manage data, and you can write some pretty powerful formulas. So let's wrap this up with some final tips on how to save and share all your hard work.
When you're using numbers on the web, just keep these 4 little things in mind. First, stop looking for a save button. It's saving automatically to iCloud all the time. Second, know that it's a little bit lighter on features than the full desktop app. Third, if you're coming from Excel, good news. A lot of the keyboard shortcuts are the same. And finally, if you're ever looking for a tool or an option, the little wrench icon is your best bet.
And when you're ready to share your masterpiece, just head to that same wrench icon and choose Download a Copy. You get a bunch of options here, so you can save it as a numbers file, a PDF for easy reading, an Excel file if you're working with others, or even a CSV if you just need the raw data.
And just like that, you have the core skills to really get work done in Apple Numbers. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything, whether you're building a simple family budget or a complex analysis for work. You have the tools. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?